Hello and welcome. I am Biredu, coach of the Atacama Tyranitars, and today we're going to be doing a draft analysis for BHDL Season 2. So, the long awaited BHDL Season 2 for someone is going to start probably next week on Monday, and I can't be more excited than I am today to show you what I've been cooking with. So, without further ado, let's go and see what the rules are. So first off, we're going to be doing 8 rounds of regular season plus playoffs. This is 1 week shorter than last season because I think it took away too much. We also won't be doing those play-ins battles as they didn't work so well during BHDL week 2, season 1. So we're going to try to improve on what we had during last season. We're going to be having 100 points to draft between 9 and 11 Pokemon ranging from 18 to 1 point. So this is also different from what we had during last season. Last season I think we had 110 points to draft the same amount of Pokemon, but last time there were only months up till 17 points. So it's going to be a little more difficult to draft all those top heavy teams compared to last season. So we're looking mainly to have a more even spread of Pokemons in a team. So some teams don't have like those broken ass roster. Next up, we have 18 points to choose up to 3 Terra Captains, which is also different from last season, where we had I think 25 or something. And also, only Pokemon 10 points of less can be chosen as Terra Captains, as opposed to last season, which was 14. So this is a pretty big nerf for Terra Captains. We still can choose whatever type we need for certain matches, and we don't have to rebuild them previously. So it's going to be open Terra, but Terra Captains are going to be a little bit nerfed this time around. We don't want to repeat the experience we had last time with Terra Captain Iron Leaves and I think Sandy Shocks, which both were really powerful and managed to get the winners, get the trainers big advantage over certain other teams that didn't have such good Terra Captains. So we're going to experiment with these new rules and see how we do, looking forward into future iterations of the league. So with that said, I'm going to be showing you all what I drafted this season. But first off, I had to tell you I got 4th seed in the draft. First was HIM, second was Scorpion, and third was Raymond, the reigning champion and Pokemon Scholar of the league. And I was 4th. Next to me was I think Lionel, who is a newcomer to draft. So I was in between a newcomer and the current champion. So I thought it was going to be easier from one way and a little harder from the other one. Luckily, me and Raymond are really good friends, so we had the chance to talk a lot about our draft, and I think we actually made it really clear that we didn't want to snipe each other, and we drafted accordingly. I also want to say I did not get sniped that much during this draft. I think there were like 3 instances I can tell you I was sniped, but I'm going to be telling you those as I mention my mons. So first up, we have my first pick. I really wanted to draft this mon. This is Garchomp. Garchomp, I wanted to draft it because it got Scale Shot, and I think it's an amazing Pokemon for draft. So with that spread of 108 HP, a lot of attack, and good defenses, and 102 in speed, this mon couldn't be better. Its only quad weakness is actually ice, which I have to be careful. But this mon can hazard tag really well. It can run Rocky Helmet plus its rock skin to punish physical attackers and can also run mixed sets so it doesn't get walled by physical walls. It also got Hell Shot from the DLC, which increases its speed by 1 stage and can act as a pseudo Dragon Dance in conjunction with Sports Dance, making for a really difficult to deal with sweeper. So I expect Garchomp to be really good this season for me. I think it's going to be a solid mon. Probably not a sweeper. It's not going to get the most kills, but it's good overall. And this was I wanted to start with the dragon to start forming my Dragon Steel and Fairy cores right away. So the way I approached this draft, I wanted to form my cores at the beginning and then draft the glue that was going to hold together the whole team. So next up, I have Iron Moth. So Iron Moth is really good. I was thinking, okay, let's go for the beginning of my Fire, Grass, Water core next up, and I know I had to draft fast mons at the beginning of the game because they're not so prevalent in the draft pool. And as I already had a good physical attacker, I said, well, better pair it with a good special attacker. So Iron Moth, as you see, has a really good special attack, a solid speed tier in 110, and a solid special defense in 110 as well. So with 88 speed, that's really it's not so much of a special wall, but it can tank some hits. However, it does have a quad ground weakness, so I have to be careful there. Probably going to be running some berries, some resist berries during the season, or air balloon. Iron Moth is really good also with choice scarf or choice specs, and even with that special defense, I think running AV mod in some battles is not unheard of. Iron Moth also gives me access to U-turn and solid coverage, and importantly, grounded poison type, which would help me to remove toxic spikes if people try to come in with those against me. So now that we had the beginning of both our cores and fast and also strong physical and special attackers, I decided to go for another part of the Dragon Steel Fairy core, and this time it was going to be Scizor. So Scizor is a strong mon with probably one of the strongest priorities in the game, in Technician bullet points. So that's what I wanted at this point. I knew I needed some priority. Scizor is a slow mon, which is going to be running probably most weeks adamant nature, because I won't be outspeeding anything anyways, and also gives me access to U-turn. And after the DLC, Scizor actually got knockoff, so that's a really good support move to have. Scizor is also my first hazard remover in this draft, because it learns default. So that it's going to be kind of helpful for my team. As you will see later, I don't have many rock resistances, and Iron Moth is weak to rock, so I need to be considering that. Strong U-turn, strong choice band user. It also can run sword stance sets in order to sweep with bullet punch. Albeit I won't be able to Terra this mon because it was more expensive than 10 points, and it also gives me a slow U-turn to pivot into my fast mons safely. So also Scizor does a really good pairs really well with some of my other mons that I will be showing you later. So that's going to be Scizor. Next up, I finished my Fairy, Steel and Dragon core with Screamy. Screamtail is a fast support Pokemon that is really bulky in the special side and fairly bulky in the physical one too. It can carry rocks, so it's my second stealth rocker in this game. And the thing that this thing lacks, however, is the ability to hit back. So it's kind of a passive mon, but it has really good moves in order to prevent that in the form of fast and core. It also wish passes pretty well to Garchomp, which tends to be whittled down during the battle because it tends to come in against some mons that want to hit in the form of the physical side to chip them. And Screamy also gets important screens that I would like to have as an option for my team in order to attempt to set up in some matchups I will be needing. So Screamy, I think, runs pretty well my Dragon, Steel, and Fairy Core, and I'm looking forward to put in action this Paradox Mon. So far I had two Paradox Mons in the form of Iron Moth and Screamtail. So that's often mons with no abilities, so I had to be wary of that. And maybe down the line draft something that can set up terrain or sun in order to take advantage of those abilities. That being said though, Moth can run booster energy, so it's not all lost. Next up, continuing the Fire, Grass, and Water core, I drafted Milotic. So to be honest with you, Milotic was in my radar because mainly I like this mon, but also because I needed a physical tank. So I grabbed myself a good special tank in the form of Screamtail, but Milotic with its ability multi-scale is really tanky in the physical side. So if you run a Flame Orb with this thing, that 79 base defense actually turns into a much higher one. And Milotic also has really good bulk in the form of 95 base speed and 125 special defense. So this one is bulky overall. It has access to recover to gain that health back that you lose with Flame Orb. It also has access to Flip Turn, which is another form of slow pivoting that I have for either Iron Moth, Garchomp, or the Pokemon that I'm going to be showing you down the line. Milotic also has access to, is one of the few mons that have access to Scald right now, and Scald is going to be heavily used in my preparation, I think, because it helps so much against physical attackers that otherwise could be a problem for my team. Although I don't know about that actually, because Milotic is going to be able to tank a lot of hits, and I can bring bulky Garchomp some week, so we'll see what we run. Also, Milotic has competitive, so if I hazard stack someone and I'm fearing that they can actually clear my hazards with default, I can bring in Milotic and attempt to maybe do some heavy damage to my opponent. As you will see later, I don't have a ghost type in this team, so I need something to be able to keep my hazards in the battle. So that's a good option Milotic gives me, and I love that it has Flip Turn, a slow Flip Turner to get my good my powerful mons in safely. Next up, I was debating what I wanted here. So at this point, I knew I was not going to be getting the electric type mon that I was planning before the draft, because Captain Peanut actually sniped me. It was a Kilowatt, which I was planning to make my Terra Captain at this point. And also I think someone else drafted Jolteon, which was my another option for me as a Terra Captain. And I decided to draft back-to-back two water type mons, because water is a really good typing, and I don't mind having two of them on my team, but I knew I really wanted an electric type mon, because electric is a typing that hits a lot of Pokemon for neutral or super effective damage, and pair that with actually water, it's really good coverage. So I decided to go once again for Rotom Wash, Uh, I'm a really big fan of the Rotom family because they're so versatile. You can run multiple sets with it. Go for Choice Scarf, actually Nasty Blood, Choice Specs. You can trick Lagging Tails. You can trick whatever you need. It also gives you access to Will-O-Wisp, Thunder Wave, Discharge. It can pivot with Volt Switch fastly with the Choice Scarf, or you can be a slow pivot with slow Volt Switch. You actually can be really bulky on the physical and the special side, and as you saw in my run for SDA, I managed to even run an AV set on it and make it look unstoppable. So hopefully Rotom Wash does better for me than it did for Scorpion last time. Hopefully it doesn't malfunction like it did for him, but I'm going to be telling you that I'm going to be calling it malfunction anyways. So I have Rotom Wash as another pivoter. So far I have actually 5 months that can pivot. So because Screamtail also learns Baton Pass, so that's it. Rotom Wash is one of my actually blues for this team. Really good sport, can hit heavily, and also can withstand a lot of damage. Next up, we complete the Fire Grass and Water core with Brood Bonnet. So Brood Bonnet is going to be called Water Boy during this league because it didn't come in for Captain Beanard during last season. I love Brood Bonnet. Actually, I had it in my first team I made for Scarlet and Violet, and actually it was really good for me. However, its typing, it's awful. It's 4 times weak to Bug, which makes it super weak to U-turn, one of the most used moves in draft, because you always want to be scouting what your opponent brings. So that's the main weakness of Brood Bonnet, I would say, but that's why I decided to make it my Terra Captain. Brood Bonnet, I think it was 8 points if I remember correctly, and look at these stats, man. 111 in HP, a lot of attack and decent bulk in the defense and the special defense department. The speed is lacking, I'm gonna give you that, but you have access to Sucker Punch. So Sucker Punch gives you that priority you need to make this one good. It also gives you access to Spore, which can actually be pretty good at making your opponent's tanks go to sleep and actually punish them that way. So as a Terra Captain, I will have more coverage for it. Hopefully that comes into play into my future matches, but I feel like Brood Bonnet is going to be doing more for me than it did for Captain Beanard last season. So this one is pretty bulky, but also fast priority, which is what I wanted. And thus far I have 3 Paradox Mons, 2 Ancient and 1 Future, so hopefully I grab myself some Sunsetters to pair up with these 2 fast Paradox Mons. So next up we have Hisuian Bravery, which is another one of my Terra Captains. At this point I needed some more hazard removal because I don't see myself bringing too much hazard removal with Caesar this season. Because Caesar is such a good mon, an offensive mon. So I decided to get myself Hisuian Bravery, and Hisuian Bravery after the DLC actually got access to Vacuum Wave. So in spite of that middling and really bad 65 speed, I actually have some form of priority to hit my opponent fast if they want to set up. So Hisuian Bravery is kind of bulky with that 110 HP, really bad defenses actually, and 70 in both sides, but it has a good special attack. Hisuian Bravery also learns agility, learns its signature move that I can't remember right now, the Electro Wing, I think, that also boosts its speed. It has 2 amazing abilities in the form of Tinted Lens to hit for neutral damage those resistances, and Cheer Force, which I can use in conjunction with what's the name of this item, Life Orb, in order to make my attack super uh, dangerous. It also learns quite a few coverage moves in the form of Shadow Ball, Heat Wave, Terra Blast, Dazzling Gleam. So I think I will have good success with this mon. I think I'm going to be using it more than I gave it credit for when I picked it, and I'm looking forward to try it. I have never tried it before. Shout out to Pokemaster for giving me two of his Historian Braveries, so I can have for this league. I'm going to be going genless this week. I'm going to be breeding my mon, so I needed this for the league actually. Next up, we have Persian. At this point, my team was looking not the fastest. I had some fast threats in the form of Iron Moth, but the rest was not that fast. Creamy is really fast too with 111 in speed, but it doesn't hit hard, so I needed something that would help me with that. And at this point, I think I had like 4 points, and I was lacking some form of resistance to ghosts. So I decided to pick myself a version, made it my Terra Captain, so it doesn't suck that much. But it has a really good speed tier in the form of 115, and it also has the ability Technician, just as Caesar does. Its weak moves are going to be hitting a lot harder. So Persian with Terra Normal and loaded dice can actually deal decent damage with Fury Swipes. It has access to Covet. It has a really good move pool in either the special department and the physical department. It has access to Nasty Blood, so that could be useful for me as well if I try to set up with Persian. So I know not the most exciting one to have, but I think it's going to be a player in some of my battles, hopefully, if I need this big tire for something. And I think I messed my presentation here because Pupitar is not one of my tier captains, it's actually Brute Bonnet. But at this point I had only 1 point left and I didn't want to leave it in my bank. So I picked myself Pupitar because it's going to be the mascot for the team this time around, replacing Tyranitar. So Pupitar, it's not relevant at all. It's probably not going to be coming anytime during this league unless I'm actually memeing. But notably, Pupitar can has access to Dragon Dance, so maybe that's something I will take advantage of sometime during this league. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to be showing you actually the team, how it looks in my preparation deck. I have most types represented here, with only lacking ice, fighting, and ghost types. I know ghost is a really important typing for draftings, but I think I will do just fine with this. I can make some transactions down the line, so I'm not too worried about that. I want to feel how this team does during the first couple of weeks and take action if some things are not going my way this time around. So as you can see, the team has no glaring weaknesses. The only thing that I'm kind of scared of is rocks. I'm really neutral to rocks, which could be really bad in my case because I don't have the best defaulters, I think. But those that I have will do. My speed tiers are from 115 to actually Brute Bonnet, which is 55, but they're spread all over the place. So if I could pick something for this team, is actually get a better one as a speed tier that's really good, like a 120, like Weavile, for example, or I don't know, Iron Bundle. No, probably not. I won't be doing that. But I have a really good mix of actually priority here in the form of history and bravery, and also fruit bonnet, and last but not least, the powerful priority that Caesar brings to my team. So with that being said, guys, I'm excited to go against Raymond, actually the Pokemon scholar, during first week, and excited to show you my battles during the league. All right, if you haven't hit like, subscribe, and hit a comment down below, wrote a comment down below, please do so now, because I would appreciate it so much from you. And hopefully you enjoy the Tyrannitar trip throughout season 2 of BHDL. So thank you for coming, guys. See you.